Western Cape Community Safety MEC Dan Plato and the Department of Community Safety are hosting an extensive youth safety outreach in Marikana in the Western Cape. The outreach follows requests from the community to assist in providing alternative opportunities for young people. Our reporter Nomawethu Sowande is standing by, and Nomawethu, this of course following the Philippi tragedy and the community having asked for the deployment of the army to the area. So what are they hoping to achieve with this youth outreach?
Well, a very good afternoon to you, Natasha. Indeed, the MEC of Community Safety here in the Western Cape, Mr. Dan Plato, is currently holding an outreach program here in Marikana. And what's interesting, Natasha, since that incident about 2 weeks ago, is that this is the first event that has been held in Marikana. You know, people have been worried about their safety, and this goes to show just what criminals are doing in this community. People are so scared, and people say that much more needs to be done. Now, the police minister, Mr. Fikile Mbalula, also announced last night, like you said, that he's working on a plan to get the SANDF to come to this area after 18 people were gunned down. Now, I must say that since the incident, people in this community have said that, saying that they have very little faith in police, although an additional number of police had been brought in, but they were calling for the army to also bring stability within this area. But now, joining me is the MEC of Community Safety, Mr. Dan Plato. So just tell us more about this outreach program that you have here.
Well, the Western Cape government do have various programs and projects specifically for our youth in all the communities. Looking at Marikana this afternoon, when I asked the question, are you aware of our projects and programs, and they said no. So it was quite strange. And in many other communities, they are quite aware of what we're doing and so on. But we're very, very pleased, quite a large turnout, hundreds of youngsters to listen to us, and it's now for us the opportunity to showcase to them what it is the Western Cape government do have to offer. And after all, we brought for them booklets, we brought for them application forms, so the ball is actually now in their court to fill in the forms, to give it back to us so that we can begin to work with those forms.
Now, Mr. Plato, you talk about forms and applications. Just tell us what you're offering to these youngsters. We know that some of them never matriculated, some of them have children at a very young age. What are you offering them?
Well, government is there to advise people. Government is there to engage with them and to steer their lives into a direction. Is exactly what the Western Cape government are doing. We do have our Chrysalis Academy. We do have the applications forms for the academy and for us to send the youngsters to the academy. They will stay at the academy for quite a number of months, and from there we put them into internships. And that is one way of changing their lives and to give hope for them as youngsters. Then we do have agreements with some of our FET colleges in Cape Town and the Western Cape, and also to steer some of the youngsters to the FET colleges. The big obstacle is the bursary fees, and it's for us to showcase to them how best they can overcome that, specifically the most poverty-stricken youngsters. And as they are sitting here, I ask them to tell me, and many of them, their parents is not working, there is no food to eat, there is no hope for them. And today we showcase to them how best they could enter a FET college even without having the necessary bursary fee to do that. And then also some of the other departments, our agriculture department, what they have to offer. Those that want to become farmers, they could go into the agricultural sector and to go and study there and become farmers and that sort of. So all of these programs and projects is for the benefit specifically of the youth, but also we want to reach out specifically to those that are the real destitute in our communities. And I'm glad, looking at Marikana today, likewise was what we're doing for all the other communities in Cape Town and in the Western Cape. It is their turn today to take up the challenge and to say we want to work with the Western Cape government to better their lives.
Now, MEC, you starting from the ground, developing the youngsters. I can see that. Now, yesterday you also spoke about investing in the patrollers that are trying to keep this community safe. We know that the Minister of Police has announced that he'll be trying or getting into the process of getting SANDF into this area. Now, this is something that the Premier of the Western Cape, we know she's been calling for many, many years. Just as the MEC of the Western Cape with regards to community safety, what do you say about that?
Well, number one, the patrollers is on board. I put them already in touch with the officials immediately. They were contacted yesterday by the officials. They are very happy with that, and the training will start within the next couple of days. And after their training, we will provide them with the necessary equipment. We will even see to their accreditation to legitimize them as a neighborhood. Was happy with that. But the call for the army, I think that is exactly what we have asked, myself and Premier Zille, for the last couple of years, looking at the tens and tens of people getting killed on a week-to-week basis, looking at what Hanover Park looked like, what Mannenberg looked like, Ocean View, Kraaifontein, the Scottsdene, the Scottsville, but even here, Marikana, Khayelitsha, for instance, it cannot want to continue like that. We know and understand it's not the primary role of the army to do this, but we ask them to come and stabilize and to help the police to stabilize the situation on the Cape Flats. I don't know, and that is another talking point we will have to look into. If the gangsters are beginning to shoot at the army, what they are going to do. And that is the fear in some people's life, because the army's role is much, much different from that of the police. But Premier Zille did indicate at the next cabinet meeting, which is next week, we will discuss this issue. Obviously, I would love to have the opportunity to discuss this issue also with Minister Mbalula. I did write him a letter some weeks ago, and I'm still waiting for his positive response, but I think that it is now the opportune time for myself, Minister Mbalula and Premier Zille to get together to thrash out specifically the role the army is going to play on the Cape Flats. But I think looking at phone calls I receive from many community leaders across Cape Town, the people of Cape Town welcome the deployment of the army. They wait anxiously for them to come and stabilize the situation.
Well, thank you very much for your time. That was the MEC of Community Safety here in the Western Cape, Mr. Dan Plato, telling us more about this outreach program that is currently underway here in Marikana, telling us more about how the different spheres of government are also going to start working together. This is certainly a tragedy that has brought the community together, and it starts right at the bottom, working with the youth and giving them hope that they can have a bright future as well, despite their circumstances. Back to you in the studio, Natasha.
Thank you very much for that. Our Nomawethu Sowandle live from Philippi East in the Western Cape.